finally finished a peak gaming experience. That final boss fight was so fun. Man, I just can't wait to see how my actions have impacted the actual world and to see it after Ganon's gone. That's gonna be so fun. I made sure to do everything I could before I beat the game. I completely mapped out the depths. I got all the best weapons. I got all the good materials, all the good shields, bows and arrows, so many things. I got all the armor. Hell, I even completed all the shrines. And I got that final weird looking thing. Wow. Just can't wait for the new chapter of this world to be here. What do you mean, that's it? There's no more? That's the game? Frick this. I'm playing Mario Odyssey. Alright, you probably saw the thumbnail, read the title. I'm here to talk about Mario Odyssey's post-game. Now, bit of a small disclaimer. I really like games that give you an impact to the story once you actually beat the game. For example, I talked about Tears of the Kingdom and how with that skit in the beginning, nothing actually changes after you beat the game. This is kind of why I don't like the Zelda games as much, but this is very much different in Mario Odyssey, and a lot of things do change, and you get a lot more access to moons and sometimes even new kingdoms. So I'm just going to be recapping all of those and kind of explaining why you should try to use those in your game. And also, make sure to stick around till the end of the video because I 100%ed, or almost 100% of this game just for this video, and I saved up a bunch of moons. So I have a 500 plus moon dump at the end of this video. So you better stick around for that because it is the most satisfying thing that you're ever gonna witness. Alright, so let's get right into it. Throughout the game, you've noticed these. These are moon rocks. And after you beat the game, you get this cheeky little cutscene showing you that they're activated. Now, you can travel around the kingdoms and activate these moon rocks. These moon rocks then give you access to a bunch more moons, even more than the normal post-game moons. Now, there is a requirement to actually having these unlocked. You have to get world peace in the kingdoms, but that's not that hard for most kingdoms, and some of them with moon rocks don't even have world peace. With these moons as well, you get a bunch of hints showing you the locations of these moons. Now, I do kind of dislike this. I wish that they had a different way of showing you where all the moons were. Like, maybe show you the locations of the sub-areas, but the normal moons that appear, I think it would be a lot more fun if there was a sort of riddle or hint arts like are actually in the game to show you the current moons. But I bet it would get to be a big hassle with the amount of moons the moon rocks give you. Now, obviously, these moons are not just for just cosmetic purposes. Well, actually, I guess they are, but they're not just to make your moon count look bigger. That's because once you get these moons, you can buy cosmetics with them. You get access to Toadette moons. As you do more things, you get the achievements from Toadette moons. And you are able to make Mario look very dapper. Now, why is this important? There's plenty of games that don't do this, and they sell fine. Like, why do I need to add a cool post-game like Mario Odyssey has when other games like the Zelda franchise don't have as much of a post-game? Now, the reason I think that this is necessary is satisfaction. It's the reason that people keep playing these games. People play games because it makes them feel good and they get to live out a certain fantasy of theirs. Now, when games don't give this to them. They don't give them a nice satisfying ending. And I know I said games, but this works with all sorts of media. This includes movies where there's some sort of ambiguous ending, or you just want more and you feel unsatisfied, and most of the time that detracts from your viewing and, in games case, your playing experience. Now, this is why in my mind it's really important to give players a nice satisfying ending. And if people end up playing through the game and they don't feel this way, and they feel like they want more and there isn't, it detracts from their viewer experience and from the reviews that they're going to give this game. So that's why it's kind of important to make this post game so the players feel satisfied. And if you add as much content as Mario Odyssey does, which I'm not saying you have to do because that's a lot of content, and the player still feels unsatisfied, I don't think they're ever going to be satisfied. And I mean, they love the game, that's pretty good, and hopefully they'll find their own ways to have fun. But games shouldn't have to rely on player-made content to be fun. I mentioned this in my Cuff Bust video that I made. Check that out if you want to get a bit more with what I'm saying. But as I said in that video, you shouldn't rely on player-made content for everything. Alright, now I've talked about why you need the post game. Let's talk a bit more about what Mario Odyssey does to have all those satisfying things besides just adding the moons. Now, earlier I mentioned with the skit that literally nothing changes. I think it's fine if maybe you can't get these new things and you can't get these new items because they may not exist. The developers may not have created them. But you should at least give players a feeling of impact with their decisions. And the decision in this case would probably be like beating the game. Now, Mario Odyssey does a great job with this in showing that you actually did make an impact with the kingdoms. After you get World Peace and Kingdom and after you beat the game, a bunch of people come from all the other kingdoms and they all hang out, and it really makes it feel like the world is more alive and they're not in distress, which is unlike what it was when you came here the first time. Now, I think the best example of this is Luncheon Kingdom, as there's a big fiesta going on and they're all having food and hanging out because the world is saved and you get to be a part of it, and it's really fun. Now, players will also eventually get bored of the things that you have already given them, and revisiting a bunch of kingdoms that you already kind of know their gimmick kind of makes things less fun. And that's why Mario Odyssey does a good job of adding a few new kingdoms, and specifically those kingdoms are challenges and pretty challenging. And that's really important because eventually players reach a skill level where they don't need these the new things that are added are not at their skill level and they're way above that. So that's why it's important to add this, because it gives them enough of a challenge to really test their skills. Now, a few games do this, but sometimes you don't even need to prove yourself before going into them. Mario Odyssey fixes this by putting their big challenges and other things of that sort at the end of the game and after you've done a bunch of the previously mentioned post-game things. So if you do want to prove your skills, it even gives you more incentive to actually have to go and play the game even more. Anyway, here's your reward for watching the video.